Okay, now the next thing that it wants us to do is take a look at our panels. So we have all kinds of different panels over here, and I showed you that you can pull them out. So like I could take my color out, my swatches out, my gradient out here. I also want you to realize I could redock them. I can take them back in here and put them in here. If you decide you don't like how they are in here, maybe you want your channels up in here as well. You can move them wherever you want. Okay, so that is called docking. You can go up to window and you could turn on any of these other panels. Okay, and again, I showed you how to go to window, workspace, and reset essentials. There is also a key way over here at the right hand side. I'm going to make this a little smaller so you can see. It's the one at the farthest right, and this is a quicker way to hit reset essentials. Okay, so then we can reset everything and everything will go back to normal. Next thing they want us to do is to add some paint splatter behind the word live. So in order to do that, we will need a new layer. They want us to put it in between they want us to put it in between the word history and rectangle. So we are going to go to the rectangle, and I could go down here and hit the plus sign, but I want to do it in a different way. We're going to hold the option key down, or alt key on a Windows, and click on it. Now when I do that, it's going to allow us to name the layer right here. So where it says layer 1, I'm going to just change it to paint. And I'm going to say OK. So that's just another option. So inside of here, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our paintbrush. So over here at the left-hand side, before I grab the paintbrush, I need to select the color. Okay, so color, because when I grab my paintbrush, whatever my foreground down here in the lower left-hand corner of my toolbox, way down here, whatever this is set to, which it's black in the foreground and then white in the background, whatever that is set to is what color it's going to paint. So I want to change this foreground to like maybe this blue color right here. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab my eyedropper. And right here is my eyedropper. I can hit the I on the keyboard. That is the shortcut to get to that. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click. Okay, now notice my foreground right down here has changed. Okay, I try to click so you guys can see, and you can't really see, but it's right over here. If I pull my toolbox out, you should be able to see it. I can pull that out and I'll make that into 2 columns, but right here, this is the foreground. Okay, so whatever that color is now 07, da, 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 da. So again, if I click and I drag around, it's going to pick different colors. Okay, so just understand that I kind of want like a lighter blue color. So the next thing I'm going to do is grab my paintbrush. Click on the paintbrush. I am going to make sure that I have that selected. Now I'm going to change my paintbrush. Okay, now up here, because my options, every tool has a different option. I'm going to hit my down arrow, and this time I want to go to my general brushes, and I can see that I have like soft, round, pressure. I have dry media brushes. If I open those up, I can take a look at those. And inside of those, we have Kyle Ultimate Pencil Hard. And then down here, we have special effect brushes. That's where I want to be. And I want Kyle's Splatter Brush, Splatterbot 1. So I'm going to click on that one. And we are going to make our brush about 250 pixels wide. Okay, so we're going to go up here, and if I click on this still, you can see we have 284. If I said 260, so I could, again, I always just type it in when the book says type it, because sometimes that is tedious to try to get right on that. So if I type 260, and I'm on my paint layer, and I want you to click and just drag a minute. And as I click and I drag, I realize I think this brush is too big. Okay, now that's okay. We could delete that layer out and put a new layer in. We could erase it, or we could just, since we just did it, we could simply undo. So I am going to hold my command key down and hit Z. That will undo all of that brush that I just did. Okay, if it didn't undo all of it, you might have to hit it twice, command Z, command Z. Also, let me do it again because there's another place you can see it. If I go up here to edit, I can also click on undo brush tool here as well. So I want to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to make this 80, I believe. I did this the other day, so sometimes yep, it's 80. So 80, so I'm going to hit the down arrow, and instead of 160, I'm going to do 80. So I'm going to type 80, and I'm going to hit enter. And what I want to do is I just want this to be like right behind the word live. So I'm just going to click and drag, and everybody's can be a little different, okay? And I just want it to look like a little splatter behind the word live, okay? So I'm just click and drag, but I don't want it to be solid. I want it to look kind of messy. If you don't like it, undo it, do it again. Now, why is this behind the word live? It's because of where it is in the layers. And I'm just showing you this, you don't have to do it. But if I took this paint and I put it on top by clicking and dragging upward, you can see that it now is on top of the word live, okay? But I want to keep it in between the word history and then rectangles, because that's what I want. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I want us to look at the swatches up here. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to pull mine out. What I want you to realize, this blue is the last blue I just used. This green is the green that we created when we made this green. White was when I did this text. This blue was this blue right here. And then this orange was this orange right here. Okay, so it's really nice because Photoshop does keep those in there. Later on, we'll learn how to actually make our own swatches and name them and put them in folders and all of that. But I do want you to realize that these are over there and available. So now I'm going to stick that back over.